Dow finished down almost 2%, S&P almost 2.5%, and the NASDAQ finished down 2.75% today. Guys, here is the heat map of the market. Very little green here. I feel like I'm a weatherman here because I can guide everybody through. This is all red, and it just dropped all day. It just kept going and going and going. Why? Well, remember one thing. Usually, wherever the market goes, people will drag the news that justifies the market. So right now, tomorrow is the inflation data coming out for May. Everybody's worried about it. Inflation's been a big deal. Is it going to be bigger? Is it going to be lower? If that's true, then people are expecting it to be a really bad number tomorrow. But we don't know what it's going to be. And everybody who's guessing has no clue. Unless you have inside information, because somebody in the government knows it already, you have no idea where it's going to be. What does this mean for you? Guys, I really wish people would take away all the noise. Your job is to worry about the long term. Go look at the history over the last 30, 40, 50, 20 years. As long as you want to go. And guess what happens? We have assassinations. We have terrorist attacks. We have wars. We have every bad thing imaginable. And guess what happens to stocks? I'm going to show you what happens to stocks over long periods of time. That, right? Now, along the way, it's this, it's whatever it is, but it just goes up because if you're a believer in the U.S. economy, that's where the stock market will go over long periods of time. But your job is to sit here, and when the stock market is going like this, up and down, your job is to buy every single month in dollar cost average. You know what that allows you to do? Not care what's going to be announced tomorrow for inflation. Not care. I get these questions all the time in our community. Where do you think inflation is going to be? I have no idea. Frankly, I don't care. What I care about is buying good companies at good prices. What the average person should care about is dollar cost averaging. So you don't have to worry about the minutia and there's a million data points out there. Why are you worried about a million different data points? You can't possibly figure out how all those data points work together in the economy. The smartest of economists can't predict the future. Why are you going? In fact, it shows that the average person actually is better at predicting the future than these economists. There are so many biases involved. This is just crazy times right now. The market is down 15, 17% this year. I was just at the bank today, and my bank teller was telling me all the stocks he's buying because he thought I was crazy for not buying stocks. Coinbase, Amazon, Tesla, and Nvidia. And I just went, are you serious? He said, oh, hell yeah. And I was like, good luck with that. I just walked away. That's not fear, guys. We're nowhere close to fear. We need that guy going, I am done with stocks. It's stupid to own stocks, and I'm not even going to own Apple because it's so dumb. So guys, here's what I think we are in the market. You've probably seen a chart like this before. This is the bull market and the eventual crash. I think we are here. That's my personal opinion. I have no idea. I have no way of justifying besides we had a huge irrational run-up, a fall. Everybody said they were scared, and now this climb back like, oh, thank God, it's over. It ain't over. I will tell you that. We will be at much lower prices in the future than where we are today. Does that mean you stop investing? No, it does not, because you never know where it's going to go. I thought we were irrationally high 3-4 years ago, and we still kept going up. Then we had COVID. We fell 40% in 1 month. And guess what happened? We went over double in the next 2 years. You never know what's going to happen. Your job is not to guess. Your job is to continue month in, month out, buy the exact same low-cost ETFs so you don't have to worry about all the minute details. That's your job. Our average viewer is 25 to 45. You've got upwards of 40 years to retirement. There are going to be so many bad things that happen in the world and in this U.S. in the next 40 years. And guess what? My guess is in the next 40 years, stocks will end up higher than they are today, even with the big fall that we're probably going to have. We're still in the early stages of a bear market. That's okay. Just like you get sick sometimes, you end up getting back to normal. A bear market is good over long periods of time. It weeds out the crap. It weeds out the garbage companies. It lets the good companies succeed. Same with recessions. It weeds out the bad companies. What your job is to not overspend, stay within your means, and save month in and month out. And everything else will take care of itself. If you live within your means and you're the best employee that you know how to be in your company, you will not be fired unless the company goes under. Because the second that the company needs to lay off people, do you think they're going to lay off the most productive employees? Absolutely not. Unless the company has really dire problems. And at that point, they're probably not going to make it anyhow. But the more productive you are, the better you are. You will find another job. You'll be better off. Will it be tough? Absolutely. But you'll end up better. If you go look at history, every time we had a bad recession or a bad stock market, we ended up better. Always. Not a single time did we end up worse. That's just the way we are built. But I want to remember, we are in the early stages of a bear market. How bad will it get? I personally think it's going to get very bad. But again, your job is not to guess. Your job is to buy month in and month out, because this is a small piece of this. This is right here. And guess what? Go look at every single chart. You couldn't even see, if you go look at if you look at this S&P chart, going back to the Great Depression, technically it didn't exist. The Great Depression crash is like this. You're telling me you would have worried about that? Granted, that was a long time ago. Fine. Go look at the 1960 to 70. Go look at 2000 bear market. Go look at the 2000 bear market just 20 years ago. It's this. Just don't worry about it. Buy month in, month out, save your money, live within your means, and be a productive worker. What else could you ask for? Don't worry about inflation tomorrow. Whatever happens with inflation, guess what? If inflation ends up being 3% and the market soars from it, guess what I believe? I still believe we are here. Guess what's going to happen? Some news will come out that'll make it go like this. You know why? Because eventually news comes out that makes people justify stocks crashing. All of a sudden, cash flow will matter. All of a sudden, cash flow, we don't know what it's going to be. It's a room full of gasoline. We don't know which spark is going to cause the explosion. It could be inflation. It could be something completely different. It could be Putin. I remember somebody recently saying they sold their Tesla stock because who would have thought Russia would invade Ukraine? Spoiler alert, something was going to happen. And guess what? They actually sold it at the wrong time in the sense of like their justification was just a justification. Guys, Tesla's overvalued. It will go down. Whatever reason is given, it will be a reason, but it's not the real reason. The real reason is valuation. Over long periods of time, we can't deploy capital in investments that are not going to make an ample return of our money back. When you have companies that don't make money that are surging, that does not work in the long run. I can't tell you how many bubbles have been created because of that. Just be rational, be smart. Just remember that it doesn't matter what the news is going to be. Eventually, we'll end up here. How bad it will be, I don't know. Frankly, I hope it's good enough to buy great companies at great prices. That's all that matters to me. And that's all that should matter to you. Now, if you're close to retirement and you're one of the viewers in the 55 plus range, be cautious. You shouldn't have as much money in stocks then if that's the case. Or go learn from us, from our community on how to sell covered calls and options on your money to make more income. I don't know. But the point is, the closer you are to retirement, the less exposure you'd have to stocks, especially high-flying hype stocks. Now, if what I just said makes sense to you and you want to learn more, I made a video, click up here, on the upcoming recession and the opportunity of a lifetime. I'm telling you guys, some of the best businesses and investors came out of recessions and stock market falls. Good luck.